questions around, is the Salesforce career still relevant? Should they start, considering Salesforce as a career option and all? And I thought, I'll talk about those questions. I'll collate all those questions and try and answer some of those for, just to help the people who are still trying to make a career in Salesforce, still trying to, um, pursue a career in Salesforce. So yeah, let's get started.
Hi, so just a quick rapid fire. So, is Salesforce a good career?
Yes, it is. Of course, it is really a good career option.
Yeah, for the newbies or the experienced ones?
For both.
Okay, so let's start with a big question. Salesforce has been around quite some time now. In
Mhm.
2026, do you still see Salesforce as a strong career choice?
Yeah, it certainly is a strong career choice because of a few reasons. So, first of all, it has got a very strong enterprise demand. So, there are a lot of companies which are using Salesforce as a CRM, and because of that, these companies need people who can help them build their CRM, manage their CRM. So, of course, there's a lot of demand still for Salesforce as a skill. Um, and parallelly, Salesforce ecosystem is also growing, so it's not confined to one or two initial things, let's say the sales cloud, service cloud and all. So Salesforce is constantly the enhancing or expanding its ecosystem, which is again one more reason why there is more and more demand being created for professionals who want to be uh, who want to make their career in Salesforce. And uh, another quick thing is there is a lot of opportunity for entry level jobs as well. While AI has changed a few things, but still that does not mean that the demand for Salesforce professional has reduced anyhow. And the I would say, of course, the skills which are required has changed a little, but overall the demand remains. So it's still a very good option in 2026 as well.
Okay, so if someone is watching this and they're starting their career today with so many options in tech, would you still recommend Salesforce for them and why?
Yes, I would still recommend Salesforce for them because Salesforce is, of course, one of the technologies where you have, you have options or possibilities around not just tech but business side of it as well. So there are different career tracks which are available with Salesforce. So it's not that someone has to be hardcore technical professional to get into Salesforce. So there is something for everyone. So people who have got more interest in, say, business analyst kind of a role, business side of it, they have got certain roles open. There are people who are hardcore developers, they have certain role opens. They are enterprise architects, they have roles open for them within the Salesforce ecosystem. So yes, it is one of the I would say one of those landscapes where there is something for different types of career paths. There is something available for everyone, and that's really where this matters a lot.
Yeah, so AI has changed the tech industry quite a bit now, and Salesforce has agent force now. How much do you think AI and agent force has actually changed the Salesforce job market?
AI and Agent Force has changed the Salesforce job market to a certain extent. I would say repetitive tasks which were being done, the very simple tasks, those are possibly now being done by the agents and AI. And that's not just about Salesforce. That's something which has uh, played a role in overall job market as well. But still, companies do need skilled Salesforce developers, professionals, because AI can assist, but AI cannot be doing the entire thing on its own. So while there is a bit of impact, but that impact is only for very very basic level jobs or activities, repeated. So certain things which were being done manually can now be completely automated or completely assigned to agents. So that is the difference. But otherwise, I don't see there is a very big impact as of now. uh, yeah, of course there would be a requirement for people to now understand that what sort of role they're going to play. They will need to understand how they can use AI to help them do their jobs better. But AI would not completely replace or will not completely take over the jobs for Salesforce professionals. I don't see
Okay.
that.
So let's say I'm a complete beginner now. I know nothing about Salesforce and I want to get started. Would you tell me to start with Salesforce admin or go straight into development?
Yeah, these are completely different tracks, I would say, admin and development. So a lot depends on your personal interest or personal skills, because development is all about uh, doing development, writing code development, understanding those logics, algorithms, etc. That's a complete different set of skill compared to admins are primarily responsible for day to day support that users require, troubleshooting their issues, helping them with reports, some data management activities, etc. So I would say it's uh, these two tracks are very very different. And if someone can have a understanding of both, for example, if an admin primarily with some understanding of developer's role and how development works, that will be really good. Or a developer with fair understanding of how the admin functionalities work, that would be the best place to be in, not just either complete admin or complete developer. So that is the thing. And of course understanding the configurations out of the box, because Salesforce has got a lot of declarative ways of building things, so configurations, flows, etc. That falls under the gray area, not completely admin, not completely development. So those skills are definitely required on both the sides. So that is how I would suggest this one.
Yeah, looking ahead over next 5 years, what skills do you think are going to separate the Salesforce professionals who succeed from everyone else?
uh, so 5 years ahead, can you
What
read?
are the skills do you think are going to separate the Salesforce professionals who succeed from everyone else?
Within the Salesforce ecosystem,
Yeah.
Salesforce professionals, okay. Yeah, there will be certainly few skills which are going to be very critical or are still critical, and 5 years down the line of course will be more required. So one is now development, the way we write the code, the way we basically build things is not completely done by the developer himself, and a lot of AI assisted code is generated. So AI is part of the development, right from building the functionality, writing the code, um, how the code is now checked, tested. A lot of things are being done with the help of AI, not completely with AI, but with the help of AI. So, if someone has to stay relevant, if someone has to stay ahead of others 5 years down the line, of course, they should understand these aspects, try to involve AI, but again, not completely depend on AI, because I've seen some professionals who feel that they can do everything with AI. That will not happen. You would still need to control your code. You may get some assistance with AI, but still you are in the driver's seat. So that is the thing. Agent Force is going to play a big role, because I see a lot of these small activities, not just for the developers or administrators, but in general, what a sales rep is doing, what a customer support rep is doing. A lot of these small activities will be taken up wherever there's a straightforward action required. Agents will be able to do that. So Agent Force is going to be one critical thing. uh, you know Data and integration is going to be play one big thing, because AI heavily relies on data. So understanding data cloud, understanding how systems integrate to each other, those skills are going to be definitely very important. One skill which I would additionally want to call out is understanding the overall business process flow is now going to be more important than ever before. Earlier, someone could still succeed in the career only by being a hardcore techie, just knowing the code and all. But now it's going to be more of yes, understand the development, but understand the business aspects as well, because a lot of your technical stuff is being done by AI, right? So what is the value add that you bring in? So the value add that an individual will bring in is more towards understanding business process, recommending that this is how it should be done and not this way and all. So those are the skills I would say that any Salesforce professional at this point of time willing to make a career should seriously try to scale up on these areas, just to make themselves relevant even 5 years down the line.
Okay. So a lot of people enter Salesforce through configuration and admin work.
Hmm.
What happens to someone whose skill set is mainly limited to configuration as AI and automation became more powerful?
Yeah, so yes, I would again need to hear that question. Tell me again. What
A
is it?
lot of people
Mm-hmm.
enter Salesforce through configuration and admin work.
Mm-hmm.
What happens to someone whose skill set is mainly limited to configuration as AI and automation become more powerful?
So the config skills still remain very much relevant. So it's not that configuration skills are not relevant anymore. And especially, I would say, uh, in fact, for configuration, AI can do very limited stuff, right? In fact, it's the code where AI can help you more as compared to configuration. So understanding of, or understanding the configuration skills, etc., are still going to, or are still, as of now, they are pretty much relevant, and not too much of that has changed. That having said that, as I said in the last question, that just knowing the configurations of Salesforce may not be sufficient. Even if it is today, maybe after 1 year, it may not be sufficient. So it's definitely a good idea for everyone to understand how they can engage AI. So maybe AI can help you in understanding, or generating those specific uh, config flows, etc., which you may have to do it manually, because still I do not see AI being able to do it completely on the system itself. So yeah, it can be a combination of both the things. So config skills stay relevant. At the same time, I would advise everyone to start understanding using AI as much as possible.
Yeah. So, moving forward, this is
Mhm.
probably one of the biggest concerns of people having right now. Do you think AI will eventually reduce the demands of Salesforce developers, or do you see the developer role in evolving?
I see developers' role evolving more. I mean, it's not like AI will completely replace the developers. It is still going to be relevant. There will be developers, and now the developers will be primarily doing more of a actual developers work, rather than a programmer's work. So that is the thing. Even if for anyone who has generated a code using any of the AI tools, uh, let's say Claude or whatever, they would understand that the code that is generated still needs to be fine tuned, or it still need to be you'll have to understand how that needs to be generated. So randomly putting a prompt and generating code, that code cannot be taken to a to an enterprise system. So that code needs enough, I would say, fine tuning before it can become part of your actual production thing. So for developers also, I as of now don't see too much of a challenge. So AI cannot completely replace the developers. However, having said that, whatever work is being done now, let's say if there was an implementation which was being done by 4 developers, possibly with AI assisted coding and all, it can be done by 2 developers, but still developers do stay relevant, and overall development life cycles will improve, developments will happen faster, and yeah, that's how it is. But will AI completely replace the developers? That I don't see happening. Of course, developers who are not able to leverage AI for their development work, they will definitely be replaced, and for right reasons.
Okay. So next is probably one of the biggest concerns, and also for the beginners who often focus on certifications.
Mhm.
In 2026, are Salesforce certifications still worth investing time and money into?
Yeah, certifications are, I will not say, see, okay. So there is a yes and no to this answer. So one is, uh, if you ask me personally, are certifications more valuable as compared to hands-on experience? I would say no, of course. So if you have to prioritize, hands-on experience is something, nothing can beat that. So that should be your first priority. Parallelly, how do you showcase that okay, you have got that skill? So to put that in your portfolio, to put that in your resume, there has to be some sort of some sort of documentation that okay, fine, this is what I have done, I am aware of this and all. So that's where certification plays an important role. So certifications are still important. Personally, I have never felt that certifications are super important, because I've seen people who are able to still do a lot with development, just that they have not gone for the certification. uh, Having said that, having a certification does not take away anything. And another important thing, why certifications become important, because when someone prepares their profile or resume, usually certification is a good way for them to showcase that which all areas they have worked on, which all areas they have got some amount of understanding. That gives the recruiters also a bit of confidence on that this is the area where this person has invested some time, etc. So of course, worth going for certification, but I would, again, as I said, I would rate it as second priority. First priority still happens to be the hands-on experience.
Okay. After you working with Salesforce for so long, what do you think separates an average Salesforce professional from someone who's genuinely really good at what they do?
A lot of things. So Salesforce, as I said earlier, Salesforce is, it's not just a development thing. It's more of a tool which involves a lot of other aspects of it, business understanding and all that stuff. Now Salesforce uh, is where you start building things. You start bringing up, let's say, technical stuff which very quickly comes into live production environment. Doesn't happen in a lot of other softwares or technologies. So what would differentiate an average professional from a really good professional would be understanding the business aspect of it, understanding the limitations of Salesforce. Those are very important factors, because Salesforce is also a platform. It has got its own limitations. So if we are not taking care of those limitations, then we are not completely uh, aware of what we are going to build, how it would start behaving in, say, a couple of years down the line, etc. So a good professional or above average professional would always think about not just the solution that they are building. They'll start thinking about, okay, fine, uh, does this solution actually solve the real problem? So for that, understanding of the problem is required. For that, understanding of the business is required. So those are the factors. Secondly, does this solution, the solution, uh, the one that we are building, does this solution work for me now, and will it continue to work for me in future? Let's say 2 years down the line, 5 years down the line, will it be able to scale, or will it start failing with added data to it, or added users to it, or added business processes to it? So those are the factors. So as a professional who is willing to be above average, they should start certainly considering these things right from today, and not just wait for that, okay, I will only start thinking about this when I become an architect. So it has to be the architectural mindset which has to come in early.
Yeah. Again, you've been in Salesforce ecosystem for so long. If you
Mhm.
could go back and start your Salesforce career again in 2026, what would you do differently?
A lot of things I would do differently. I would say, you know now I would start, first of all, all the development or the coding activities, everything, I would start in a very different way. I would start learning how do we use AI into that. And so while understanding concepts is very important, but earlier when we used to do development into Salesforce, we had to really be good with writing code as well. Now writing code is, of course, understanding of the code is of course important, but you may not be sitting and writing line by line code. Earlier we had to make sure that even one small semicolon or a small line break, everything, we are taking care of ourselves, and it's written properly. So there was a lot of times which was spent on that. Now possibly I would spend time more on doing the development, understanding how AI assisted development can work. Having said that, understanding of the concepts is very important. So for someone who is starting now in 2026, they can have a faster journey as compared to someone who would have started, let's say, uh, 10 years or 15 years back. So that is the thing. uh, and in addition to that, I have been talking about certain things. So since a lot of coding can be done by AI, or a lot of development activities are AI assisted, now there are more skills which a developer should start thinking of. So one is understanding business, that is one. Another thing would be, communication is also going to start becoming a key role now, because um, we may not have roles where someone is just there writing code. So they may have to communicate with the business stakeholders and all. So I think these are the skills which I would certainly consider, if I'm starting a career now, in addition to, of course, understanding the core fundamentals, understanding platform, understanding its limitations, understanding the best practices, all those are definitely there. They are not going anywhere. Those need to be learned. In addition to that, a few other skills, of course, business understanding, enhancing a little bit of communication. uh, those things are certainly going to be important. One more important thing would be yeah, I would say, when I started career, at that time DevOps was not playing that much of a role. Now DevOps is, of course, one of the key things for any project. So not just understanding Salesforce may not be enough. Understanding integrations and understanding of DevOps, etc., uh, code repositories, etc., pipelines, those things will certainly be an add-on and will be required.
Yeah, because we spoke about a lot of learning
Hmm.
aspects, like different areas, categories.
Hmm.
For someone who decides to enter Salesforce ecosystem today, what would you want them to focus on learning during their first year?
So Salesforce, of course, anyone who starts definitely starts with the fundamentals, all the declarative tools. Then, of course, understand about Apex and LWC, which are very important. Data model concepts, those are important. First year, I would say first 6 months. Let's not talk about 1 year; it's too long. But yeah, so data model concepts, all the permissions related, user level access permissions, and all those things. Those concepts need to be really sound, because without that, it becomes really difficult to be a part of a good project. Um, what else? Uh, I spoke about CI/CD, DevOps related concepts. Those are important. Understanding integration is, because integrations have now become a lot more simpler as compared to what they used to be. So understanding integrations, how does integration work, how APIs work, and all. So these are the things which I would expect. And on top of these, of course, one very important thing would be understanding the clouds. So this is one missing piece which I find with a lot of Salesforce professionals. They do not understand what is provided by Salesforce out of the box. So understanding Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, their core features, functionalities, that part is definitely important. So maybe first 6 months, yeah, these are the things that anyone should focus on.
Okay. So finally, if someone is watching this right now and seriously considering Salesforce as a career in 2026, what's that one piece of advice you'd want them to take away from this conversation today?
One piece of advice which I can give them to, yeah, this is tricky one. I would say, if I have to, give one advice, I would say, rely a lot on hands-on, and try to do more. So, learning theory is okay. Learning concepts is very, very important. You cannot skip that part. But till the time you're not going and doing things, you will not understand. So, if someone wants to start, definitely um, start with doing things rather than just reading theory and all. Create your developer account. Good thing about Salesforce is you are able to create your own developer account. So create your developer account, create a trailhead account, go and start doing some trailhead modules to begin with. Then try to think of small projects. Try to think of some scenarios, start building on your own. So those are the important things. Do not completely rely on certifications, etc., because I see a lot of people start their learning by reading a lot of theory, and they feel that having certifications will help them. Of course, certification is something which is good to be shown on resume, but when you are actually trying to crack an interview, when you're actually trying to go and work in a company, certification will then take a backseat, and your skills, actual hands-on experience is going to help. So yeah, those things. So hands-on is going to be the most important thing. uh, Whatever you read, whatever you understand, try to do it, validate it, do it multiple times, not just once. And yeah, that's the advice that I would give anyone.
Yes, thank you so much for today. That's all.
Thank you, thanks a lot.